It happened. It finally happened. I knew it would, but it finally happened. She died. My mom died. And you're listening to this and you're thinking, sad. But for those of us who had a good relationship with our mom, think back. Think back at who your mom was. Some of us loved our moms to death. Some of us loved our moms, hated our moms. Some of us felt sorry for our moms. I felt all those things. Think about your mom dying. It's the worst thing that can happen. And it's going to happen to all of us. Unless we're lucky enough to die first. She died. She passed this morning. She had kidney failure and her kidneys failed. And oh my gosh, it was so horrible. She had so much fluid in her body that her kidneys couldn't get rid of, that her skin split open and all the fluid started pouring out of her body. She still didn't die. The nurses just wiped it away, the home nurses, because she was home to die and didn't want to go to hospice. The nurses wiped it away, and her once thin arms turned into bingo wings. And I watched the skin get stretchier and shinier and stretchier and shinier. And if you touched her arm, the imprint of your hand would be left behind. And then I saw a tiny little cut on her arm, and I said, "What did you do?" And she said, "I didn't do anything. I've been in bed." I said, your arm has a scratch on it." And she said, "That's the fluid." And I said, "The fluid?" And she said, "It's pouring out of me, sweetheart." And I was like, "What can we do?" She said, "Nothing." And I saw my once beautiful, smart, healthy, active mom die. I saw her arms split open. I saw her body betray itself. And I saw her not caring. I wouldn't say not caring, but she had accepted it. And she was like, "I know, baby, I know." I had not. And I was screaming at the doctors and the nurses, and they just stared at me. Because I guess that's what you do. You just don't respond to the patient's family when they're upset because there isn't anything that can be done. But I didn't know that. I was just acting on fear and sadness. And then 5 seconds later, I look over and the sheets of her bed are wet with the fluid that's supposed to be inside our body, which was all over her bed. She looked thinner, but then it built back up again. And then they brought out Depends. Do you know what Depends are? Excuse me 1 second. Depends are... My ponytail was stuck. Depends are for people who use the bathroom on themselves, and I said, "She doesn't need those. She doesn't need those. She can use the bathroom. Why are you bringing those?" And they said, "Sweetie, she's about to die." And I said, "Then she really doesn't need them." And they said, "Oh, she does. Because when she dies, she's going to void her bowels and her bladder. So this is just to help you." And 10 minutes later, she did. And that was the last moments I had with my mom. Now, it sounds kind of emo, I know. And I do remember all the good times, and I remember how she got a heart transplant and she got 12 extra years with us, and it was wonderful. So don't think that I'm focusing only on this. But if you do have a parent that is suffering from chronic kidney disease and doesn't want to do dialysis, which she didn't because she had already had a heart transplant and she didn't want to go through that anymore, I just want you to know what you have to look forward to. So hopefully you won't be as naive as me or as uneducated as me, and you'll just be able to accept those few uncomfortable moments and not dwell on those when you've had a lifetime of happiness and love with your beautiful mother. I'm going to end it here. Thanks for listening.